News 8's Travis Robinson shows us how they're preparing to handle the birthing process like pros before they ever have to deliver a real baby, Travis.
Yeah, guys, this one, it's a little strange, I'm not gonna lie, but the entire thing can be simulated down to minor details through realistic mannequins. Just take a look.
Hi, ma'am, I'm Dr. Croft. I'm gonna be helping to deliver you today.
I want an epidural.
What you're seeing now is not an actual live birth. This is merely a mannequin used for childbirth training.
Good.
7. Here's your baby, Lucina.
Congratulations.
From the noises she's been making to the 5-pound baby that comes out of her, Lucina may just be a mannequin, but to the learners who are operating on her, she's essentially a real woman.
Don't touch me.
She's pretty real. She can pretty much do it all.
Most of the mannequins do a lot of the things that you or I would do. You suspend disbelief for a second and you really get caught up in it.
Lucina has been in operation for the last year and a half at IU Health. And using her technology, learners have been able to increase their experience.
When I was a nursing student, when I went through my OB rotation, it's kind of feast or famine. So I only got to see one natural delivery. So now we can bring them in and create multiple deliveries a day.
At most, the $80,000 mannequin has delivered 30 births in one day, and every single one can be a different process thanks to options in a control room.
Common issues with shoulder dystocias of the baby, baby delivered head first or feet first or cord wrapped around the neck. It's a way for us to be able to make sure that we can give the residents and the nursing students and nurses and stuff like that the proper training without actually affecting a real human life, or two in this case.
And even if it seems a little over the top,
The baby is coming.
the experience helps prepare medical professionals and gives extra confidence to patients.
We do have numerous mannequins and task trainers to make sure that the public is confident in the training that the doctors and nurses are receiving before they get into the actual hospital.
News 8's Travis Robinson spoke with doctors and family to get an update on life after this big operation, and he joins us now with more. Travis, remarkable.
Yeah, it's crazy. The procedure's called a hemispherectomy, and this was the first one to be performed in 15 years in Indiana. Now, the family's extremely thankful that their daughter will get a fair shot at life.
She doesn't crawl, she doesn't walk, but we are very happy, to see her without any kind of disease.
Zara may be crying today, but she's acting just like any other baby would compared to last year when she experienced up to 10 seizures an hour, essentially disabling her and halting development.
Whenever the severe seizures comes up on her, it actually cleaned her memory, so she was not able to recognize me as a dad and her mother. So it kind of strange thing for us.
After having half of her brain removed to cure the seizures, she stopped having them and started developing properly.
It's a happier moment in my life after when I saw her that she's moving her body and things like that.
Even with only half a brain, since she's so young, what's left will adapt to do whatever a full brain can. She just might have a little less control over certain body parts in the future.
Patients who have had an anatomic hemispherectomy, they are no less creative, no less able cognitively to contribute to society and keep up with their peers.
Right now, she's still going through therapy to learn how to crawl, eat by herself, and catch up developmentally.
I think she's doing great. She's almost completely back on track. She's a beautiful little girl. She's making huge developmental strides.
Now, Zara's family says their next goal is to have her eat by herself in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully they'll see her crawling shortly after. I'm Travis Robinson, Wish TV News 8. Their daughter Corey was born with SMA1, a disease that weakens and shuts down muscles over time, like what you see with ALS. After SMA1 took the baby's life, her parents were more than a little worried about bringing another child into the world. Corey Shields smiled as her parents looked on.
Are you happy after your nap?
But they knew that smile wouldn't last forever. They were watching their baby slowly deteriorate.
And we were grieving lost, memories and hopes and dreams for her, even from the moment she got diagnosed.
Corey didn't have a chance at recovering, so to live her final days as best she could, she was discharged from the hospital.
She needs to, we want to take her to some kind of water, lake or the ocean, and do a picnic with her and do all these things because frankly, her body just wasn't supporting the life that, a normal 8-month-old was going to have.
At 10 months, Corey lost her fight with the genetic disease. The Shields knew that after Corey, they would have to really think hard about having any other kids.
It takes 2 parents to be carriers, so I have a 1 in 50 chance, she has a 1 in 50 chance, and then every pregnancy we face has a 1 in 4 chance.
Those odds were tested when Allison became pregnant with Marley.
We didn't know how to feel at all. It was like, and this, like at the exact same moment that your brain is saying this is something to be excited about, the other part of our brain was just like, where are we going and what's going to happen next?
Marley was born healthy, but she is a carrier for SMA, so she may experience what her parents just did one day.
Of course, there's going to be this whole lifelong journey of telling her about her sister and how her sister was brave and courageous and how we really, loved spending the time that we had with her. And I think kind of mixed in with that story is going to be the facts part of it. Here's what she had, and here's what we could do, here's what we couldn't do about it. Here's where you are about, in that story.
And we're forever grateful for Corey. She was amazing, and I think being her parents was probably the best thing I've ever done.
Now, the Shields say they hope Corey's story can raise some awareness for parents who may be carriers for SMA, and that there is support out there for families who are going through a similar situation. I'm Travis Robinson, Wish TV News 8. But this 18-year-old is staying optimistic and focusing on a future he was never promised. Andrew Rusk's life with mitochondrial myopathy means he has weak muscles and limited energy.
My doctors say looks like I have the lungs of a, 80-year-old smoker.
With his condition, it's hard to go to a brick-and-mortar school. He's been told there would be limits all throughout his life.
I've been told about 2 times, was it 2, that I've had 6 weeks left to live. I'm here, still kicking, so that's good.
Now, he's on track to get his high school diploma thanks to an online public school called Hoosier Academy. Through the program, many students with conditions like his are able to get a social educational experience that works around their needs, unlike the other methods he's tried.
It's so different. So when he was Skyping in, everyone else was in the classroom. Everyone else was having that direct learning experience. And he was the only one not having that direct learning experience. And so everything was still very much having to be individualized.
It didn't go well. We'll just say that it didn't go well.
Rusk prides himself on getting good grades.
Whenever it gets below an A- or an A-, I'm like,
And can see a real future for himself because of the program.
Get a job in the future, which I hopefully want to do. I always dreamed of working at Disney, so I think right now I'm going to be a youth pastor, but if I had a dream job, it would definitely be working at Disney.
Rusk says just because someone says life will turn out one way doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
Live your life. Live like it's every other day. Enjoy what you have left. And if you live past the 6 weeks, hey, you live past the 6 weeks. You can walk into that next doctor's appointment and say, what's up?
After graduation, Rusk says he's looking at online college options to further his education. I'm Travis Robinson, Wish TV News 8. He was told that there were plenty of things that he would never be able to do, but now the chains are off and he's taking his first steps into his own into the world.
He was having about anywhere from 20 to 30 a month. He'd have a cluster, which is a group of seizures anywhere from like 6 to 12, about once a week.
Just 9 months ago, Javen Calvert would never know if he'd be coming into work at the Mayberry Cafe or if he'd be trapped at home by his epilepsy.
I had like 2 hours left on my shift, but I had to get driven home because I had a seizure set off.
It was just, he was a prisoner in his home. I mean, you don't want to think that way as a parent, but you kind of are. We had to be on 24/7.
We've been wanting to stop him my whole life. I got sick and tired of him.
So Javen went through 2 weeks of testing and found out they were all being triggered from the left side of his brain.
They took it out, so I'm actually like missing a piece of my brain now. So if I ever see my pictures from my MRI that I had in April, I'm literally going to see a chunk of my brain missing. That's going to be weird because I've never seen it that way.
Now, the epilepsy isn't 100% cured, and he'll still need to be on one medication, but the surgery opened so many doors, including getting his driver's license in a few months.
I'm kind of nervous. I've driven trucks before, but in like parking lots and driveways.
The doors are open, he can plan to move out, he can, drive, he can get any job he wants, he can possibly go to college now.
Even with those newly opened doors, Javen says he's always been looking at the bright side.
And there can be positive things. You just got to look for it. It can take time, but just take pride in what you're surviving.
Now, Javen says he's been wanting to work at a nursing home for years now, and now thanks to the surgery, he can actually live out that dream. I'm Travis Robinson, Wish TV News 8.